you guys will have layers. You might have base, cabinet layers, upper, dash line layers, text layers, dimension layers. I'm completely leaving your layers up to you, but I'm not reviewing layers. So you know how to do layers, okay? That's one thing. So get that set up before you start. Wall layers, whatever. Of course, you'll be in the correct units. You're probably working off an old drawing. Of course, you'll have your OSNAP settings set up. That's total review from every other week that we've worked. And so I'm just going to, I had that in the video as well. So make sure you have that all set up. And you're going to have your limits set up and you're ready to go. Now, I would start a kitchen. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to be showing you additional things, okay? I would have my ortho on, and I would do it by drawing lines and polylines. In fact, the line command would be fine. And I would start out with my walls. I don't have layers set up. You will, okay? And I would begin my wall and draw the distance going in this direction that it is. Give me a number. 10 feet. Enter. Now I'm going to go in this direction. Another number for this kitchen?
25.
Oh, okay. Enter. Now let's say those are the main two walls of my kitchen. Okay, I'm zooming in around them. You don't need to draw exterior walls. I need to see really when I say draw the kitchen, I'm looking for the walls that the cabinets are on. That's all you're drawing for this.
Wow, I wish I would have known all that before I started.
Yeah, if you're doing extra, it's better for you, honestly. But that's what you're basically drawing. So we're going to offset those walls, the distance that they should be. Mine are, I'm going to do 6. I'm going to finish the wall over here. And finish the wall here. And if you had architectural windows and stuff, you could draw that. Now I'm going to use the fillet command that we learned last time. F enter, R enter, 0 enter to fillet this and this. We talked about how you can use that instead of a curve. I'm going to go through that quickly so that you kind of understand that. And then I would go into my cabinet layer. Now I'm going to make a new layer called cabinets. And I'm going to make that layer blue. Maybe I'll make it cyan. And I'm going to start to draw my cabinets. So here we go. I'll enter. Start them here. Over 24. Up. To there. ID. We learned. I'll enter. Hover down 24. And then say the cabinets go all the way to the end. Infer, click, and end. Using the fillet command again, I'm going to square off this corner and my base cabinets are done. Now, I want to show you something, so write down this or keep this recorded. There is something called the Design Center, and I knew you guys would be started on your kitchen, but I wanted you to have time with me to finish it today, so you haven't known everything to finish that project yet. Today you will. And the Design Center is located there. It looks like an old-fashioned telephone. It's to the right of all of your panning navigation buttons, and it's right there. Okay, so we click on the Design Center. The Design Center is a location that has pre-drawn blocks, like sofas, beds, sinks, faucets, stoves. Who found that? Or who knows? That's new. Okay. And there's a path that you need to follow to find where you need to go. The first thing you need to be in is Autocad 2014, which it should be there already. And I'll go through and then I'll take questions in a bit. Okay, so you have to be showing AutoCAD 2014, and then you need to double click on this symbol here, EN-US, and that's where you get the Design Center. If you can remember the EN-US, that's really the main one that you click on, okay? So we'll make sure you all get here today, Design Center. Double click on that, and the one that's really helpful for kitchens is kitchens. All right, so double click on kitchens, and then you're going to double click on blocks. Now last week, hopefully you practiced doing those blocks, right? And so it goes the same as that. So we're double clicking on blocks, and look what's in here. One of the ones I want is the range. There's a double sink, whatever. When you find one you want, you double click on it, and say okay. And then I'm holding on to it, so I'm just going to place it. Let's do another one. Double click on the, let's say this faucet, double click, okay, drop it out there. I'm going to do another one. there is a double sink, double click. Okay. Throw you over there. And plan view of a fridge. Okay. And drop it down. That should do us. Okay, so that makes life easy. Now at this point, I can use the move command to place my appliances precisely where they need to go. Now I don't want the line of the cabinets going through it, so eventually I will have to trim that line, but let's just say I'm going to place my items. So that's going to go, say, rotate it, move it, trim that later, and then I'll move the sink to where it actually goes. And move the faucet where it's going to go. All right, I would now draw in, well, at some point I would draw in my window, if I had a window. Of course, you would draw it using ID line because it would have to be precise. I'm just drawing away here. It would have to be in the Windows layer. And I've got a window, and I'm going to change my cabinets on the bottom to be in the correct layer, which is cabinets. And I'm going to go ahead and trim around things like the fridge. So I'm going to do that. Say our cabinets ended there. And I'll trim. And let's say over here, our cabinets ended here. These are all lines. So you see how quick I can go when I'm just using lines? Trim. And we have that there. Now to finish off this kitchen, I'm going to do uppers. Upper cabinets should be dashed. So I'm going to make a new layer called uppers. The line type is going to be loaded as a dashed line type. Set it current.
I just did that for cabinets.
Oh, thanks. Good call. Good eye, good eye. Okay, awesome. All I have to do now is be in the correct line type for uppers. I'm going to start drawing lines halfway from here, midpoint to midpoint. Why? Because it's half of the depth of the cabinet, it's 12 inches, so that's easy enough to do. I'll enter, midpoint to perpendicular. I'll enter.
I didn't know you could repeat the line.
Every time you hit enter, yeah, it goes right into the last command. I'm going to use ID for this one. And I'm preferring click, not perfectly straight, pretend it is. Now, the one thing that I want you to write down is, even though it's in a dashed line type and it shows me that it's in a dashed line type, there's a new command. We just learned where the design center was. The second new command is called LT scale, standing for line type scale. LT scale. If I make it bigger, it increases my dashes and they'll show up. So oftentimes if I type LT scale and try a new scale factor there, when it asks me for that, I'm going to type 15, enter, random number that I know works a lot of the time. And so you'll find that you can change that, and it made all my dashed line types show up. I do have one area to trim. If I had an island, I would draw that in using the rectangle command. That's quite the mother island, eh? And perhaps stools to the right size, copying them. And then all it would be a matter of is adding your dimensions and your text. Save it up, and then you would give this to me. You guys can press stop and I'll go through that more slowly. Does that help? That's the process.